Here we go. It's go time.
Yes. Okay, so welcome to the podcast.
Thank you,
Oktaves.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, and we do this these types of podcasts to give the voice to new artists that are not, stage, big and all that.
So you won't be having Taylor Swift on here, is what you're saying?
No. Unless she wants to, I mean.
Yeah, no discrimination, I guess. Yeah.
So welcome. And the very first question that we always have is a very, very, very interesting question: is who are you, in your own words?
Ooh, yeah, it's a simple but a difficult question, isn't it? My name is Gísli Gunnarsson. I am first and foremost a composer, artist. What I do is mostly write my own music. I like the storytelling through music, really. So that's what I try to do. My music is a mix of a lot of things, but I suppose you could call it just modern classical or post-rock. But then I do a lot of different things. Like lately I've been working with bands sometimes, like rock or metal bands, providing orchestration for them, because I do a lot of like string and choir work in my own music. So if they need that, they call me, And even more recently, I've started doing just some sync and trailer remixes and things like that. So yeah, I'm a composer called Gísli Gunnarsson.
Yes, that is awesome. Now that you talk about sync, how did you get into it?
It was very recent, actually. It was during Iceland Airwaves.
Oh.
In the lead up to Iceland Airwaves, Iceland Music, which is like an Iceland Music Center here, they had events going on, like panels, masterclasses, etc. Because there's a lot of delegates, like music industry people that come for Iceland Airwaves, so they use the opportunity to get them to do, panels. And in one of those, there's like a sync masterclass at Inni. It's like a publisher in Iceland. They had Lauren Harmon, who is a sync consultant, who works with a lot of different sync companies and stuff. And in that masterclass, I just got to know Lauren. She listened to my music and she was just like, you should be doing trailer remixes and trailer music and stuff. And just following that, I've been in contact with her and she's gotten me some work in that. So that's kind of how that happened.
Oh, that's really nice. I was actually going to ask you what kind of work, but of course it is, I think you're not allowed to talk about that.
No, not specifically. It's, I'm given songs and I make like orchestral trailer versions of them. But beyond that, I'm not really allowed to say specifically, no.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So I know about your music because, of course, we have a friend in common.
Mm-hmm.
And in that music, it's an album that you had many different artists in.
Mm-hmm.
So tell me about the process of
So that was my last album, yeah. It was released last November. It was a year ago, roughly. And it was just during a time when I had just gotten to know a lot of cool artists in a very short amount of time. So I just decided, like, screw it. Let me just contact them, see who would be game to feature on songs, and maybe I'll have an EP or something out of it. But to my pleasant surprise, almost every single one of them said yes. So I was faced with the task of writing like 8 or 9 instrumentals for different vocalists and stuff. And so, yeah, I just set out, wrote a bunch of music, and then I had the vocalists kind of choose which songs they connected with and they wanted to feature on. And yeah, it ended up being a full-length album, a double LP even. So,
yeah,
cool project.
It's a brilliant music. Of course, I listen to different types of music, like more metal and experimental, and it's kind of really out there.
Mm-hmm.
And how did you come about to make this kind of music? Is it your main thing?
I mean, it's just my taste in music just goes in many different directions, really. Like I come from I was just a metalhead kid, I grew up listening to Metallica and Pantera and all that. But then at a point in time, I just became obsessed with just film scores. And I was a kid that like, yeah, when I grow up, I want to be like Hans Zimmer, So that's when I started experimenting with writing that sort of music, like cinematic things. And that became my main focus for a long time. But my music taste personally, what I listen to most would be more in the metal in the metal realm, like some very heavy stuff, which I don't really take inspiration from in my own music, but I do take a lot of inspiration from more kind of storytelling metal bands, Alcest and those kind of bands, you know. So that's where that kind of influence comes from. And then I just like to tell a story, and I think having more influence is like having more colors on your palette. You know, you're able to tell a broader story, say more stuff. You know,
Yeah.
so I like, it's quite out there in terms of how far it goes into different sounds. But I like to think that it is like a cohesive story that I'm telling in each track, though.
Cool. So tell me, what is your favorite song in your previous album?
My previous album, my favorite song is actually the one with Mario, Stream of Life. It's just it is very out there, like you said. It's just starts very soft, very pretty, and like very intimate, and then it just absolutely smacks you in the face. It's like this fucking doomy, huge metal section, and Mario screams are just crazy, and it just feels like such a cool dynamic. It's such a dynamic song, and it takes you through so many different sections. Like it starts, the first metal section is so dark, so guttural. But then it becomes a little bit more melodic in the second kind of metal section, and then at the end it goes just full black metal, fucking blast beats, and it's just such a diverse song. It goes to so many different places, and I just love Mario. It's so much fun to write that with him. So I think that one's my favorite. Yeah.
Oh, cool. And how has been the reception for it? Like,
people love it. Honestly,
Yeah?
they love it. Yeah, yeah.
how was it when you introduced this concept of like every song is a different vibe, kind of?
It was kind of an experiment, because in kind of today's music landscape, singles are the best way to go. Like albums are a dying art form, as most musicians know. So I had the idea of releasing every single one of the tracks as a single on its own, and that worked very well for this album because it gave each guest their own kind of moment to shine, and that worked very well. So people were very receptive to that, and it made each release kind of its own little kind of thing, featuring one of my friends. And yeah, it was very, very well received. And my audience, I think, is just quite diverse. I have quite a lot of metal listeners as well, so they love it when I veer in that direction. But then there's other ones that come from my previous kind of music, and they love it when I go into more ambient, more cinematic. And so usually I have a positive reaction, just as long as I'm doing something I think is cool. I think my audience is there for that, you know. So it was quite well received, yeah, very positively.
That's
surprised.
really cool. And how did you market, if I may ask? What was your strategy?
Well, to be honest with you, I didn't really, because on the day of the release, I had to evacuate home, because on the day of the release is when I'm from Grindavik, which, as most people know, is the volcano town, you know, the town where it has, what have we had, like 7 eruptions now in the past year or so. And literally on November 10th, when the album was released, I had to evacuate home, and following that was weeks of just uncertainty, and so my mind was completely elsewhere. So I didn't really do a lot of marketing. But what I usually do is, what I have had myself the most success with is YouTube promoters. So building relationships with YouTube channels that feature different kinds of music. So I think that's good advice to new musicians is find, I don't know, look up some of your influences on YouTube, see which YouTube channels are uploading their music and have views, you know, subscribers. Maybe reach out, say, hey, I'm a musician. I think my music might feature, like, fit in on your channel. Would you consider featuring it? And of course they keep the ad revenue and stuff for the video, but that translates to listens on Spotify, etc. You know, new ears that you're reaching. So that's what I've done a lot of. And then just Spotify playlists and things like that.
Yeah.
That's kind of my main 2 things that I focus on when I'm marketing releases.
Yeah, that has been the common thing. Like, a lot of people tend to go to the playlist, but some people say that it doesn't work for them. Have you ever gotten, you know, bots and all that?
No, I've never had that, but I have heard of people who have gotten burnt by that, yeah. But no, I mean more in the same way as the YouTube promoters finding, there's a lot of just people out there that love music, and they are hosting playlists on Spotify of music that they love, you know. Build relationships with those and ask them, would you feature my song on your playlist, you know? And I think that's what you should focus on. Don't go on the website, increase my plays by 50,000. That's where you get bots, you know.
Yeah.
But instead, try to find real people that are into the same music that you are, and they maybe have a big playlist on Spotify. Ask them if they would feature you. You know, that's would be my advice personally.
Yeah. So tell me about the initial musical journey. So you come from the metal background, and how was that for you? Like, were you always, a metal kid, or were you just introduced to metal?
I was always a metal kid.
Yeah.
I started playing guitar when I was, I think, 6. I started studying classical guitar for a couple of years, but I loved metal, so I wanted to get into electric guitar as soon as possible, you know. And then it was just years of being in little garage bands with my friends and playing Metallica covers at the local school balls and things like that, you know. And I was never really in any big bands. Like, this is mostly my childhood. And then in my sort of even before my early teens, probably when I was 11 or 12, that's when I started producing my own music. I bought Fruity Loops Studio, or probably pirated it if I'm honest. And that's where I kind of just started experimenting with my own music. And I kind of just found a lot of joy in that, and I've kept doing that ever since. And that's where I started doing what I'm doing now. That's where that all started. But in terms of listening, I'm mostly in the metal section right now. I like a lot of different kinds of metal. I love very atmospheric stuff. Alcest, like I mentioned earlier. The new Harakiri for the Sky is very good. There's a new Icelandic band, Moor, very cool. Then I'm also into heavier, much heavier, like comically heavy, like Humanity's Last Breath and Meshuggah and all that. I'm very, very much into that. You wouldn't hear that in my own music, and you probably won't, but I enjoy that. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we get inspiration from a lot of, places.
Mm-hmm.
And what have you been doing now? Like, after, moving out from your hometown?
Ever since I moved out, it's been a very kind of hectic time. I've lived in many different places and not really sure where I'm going next, etc. But throughout the entire thing, I was writing music, and all of those songs are very influenced by that experience, of course. So I do have an album basically ready. It's fully written. It's 10 songs, all written in this last year. So the running theme in it is the eruption and the losing of my home, etc. And I'm just finishing that up right now. I'm doing final recordings, doing some sessions to replace samples with real instruments and things like that. And the plan is to have that ready for mastering end of January maybe, but that will start coming out sometime mid next year maybe, and full release late next year. I'm not gonna promise that, but I'm shooting for that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm working on that. So that's gonna be a full length album, and then I'm also doing some of the sync stuff, which I can't really talk specifically about. But yeah, that's taking some of my time now.
How do you drive traffic to Spotify?
To be completely honest, I don't really have a good answer for you.
It just happens.
I mean, I do my part. I try to get it on as many big YouTube channels, on as many big Spotify playlists, and like I got Bandcamp to feature me on their little blog. I say that it reaches millions, But honestly, when it comes to Spotify, it's tough. It's all algorithm based, and for me, there've been a couple of times when I was just blessed by the algorithm. Honestly, when I released Birds of Prey, the algorithm just loved Birds of Paradise. It just chose that track and just put it everywhere and just funneled listeners in there. And when I released Reverence Epilogue on that EP or single, Spotify just decided, we like this track and we're gonna show it to everyone, and it just blew up. And I don't really know, to be honest, if no magic solutions, honestly.
That's great.
Just lucky, I suppose.
Yeah, there is quite a lot of element of luck. A lot of people say that when we were talking to Atli, he was mentioning, like, rephrasing his words, I was in a label, that label decided to go on a route that ended up him getting a sync deal.
I'm so happy for him.
Something big.
They put their entire catalog on Virgin, right? And Virgin has like their hands in a lot of sync kind of catalogs, and I think through that he got like a big sync placement, and that's good for him. We love that. We love that for him. I'm so happy for him, honestly. And I think that's gonna open doors for him too. And like you said, an element of luck, and you can definitely do things to increase your chances. People say be in the right room at the right time. So just go to as many events as humanly possible, be in as many rooms as possible, and you have a higher chance of being in the right room with the right person who's going to do something for you, you know?
Exactly.
I think that's really good advice. And just beyond that, just be a nice human.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You have a very, very unique imagery.
Mm-hmm.
Your look, your album is representing like how you look, how you, your hair, your majestic hair.
Thank you.
So tell me about that. Like, how did you get into, you know, that artistic vision?
I think I'm just a big dandy. I love clothes, I love style, and I have big opinions on style. Like, I have strong opinions on what I want to look like. I have strong opinions on clothes, and I'm not shy about expressing them. And that bleeds into everything I do. I have strong opinions on the imagery of my music. I know what I want it to look like, and I'm not shy to go for that, you know? So I think my best advice for that would be just know what you like and don't be shy to do that, you know? Don't think, oh yeah, the music sounds like this, so it should look like this, or this is what my genre looks like generally. This is what this label that I like, this is what they do with their branding. No, just what do you like? Go shamelessly and unapologetically for the things that you like, and that will become your brand. That's what would be my approach. And yeah, that gives that kind of silver red thread through everything that I do. It's just things that I like, you know?
Yeah, and about that, like, how did you get into the essence of Gísli? You know, because what is your inspiration? Even though it is, you know, it comes from somewhere, but...
That's a very good question. I don't know. I see things and I know either I like them or I don't. You know, I go into clothes shops, I see Instagram fashion accounts, and I see a piece of clothing or an artwork, anything, could be anything, and I know I love that or I don't like that. And just through years of doing that, it develops into a style. But some of my sort of stylistic inspirations, I suppose, that's a very difficult question. I like organic feeling things, like I'm not a huge fan of very high contrast kind of artwork, digital black on white, things like that. I really like things to be low contrast, warm, organic, tactile. I like that a lot. And that is my clothing as well. I love linen, wool, stuff like that. Very Hobbit clothing. People say I look like an elf, but I'm 100% a Hobbit. Like, the Hobbits are the best dressed in Middle Earth. You can't convince me otherwise. So I like that a lot. But yeah, it's a hard question. I remember when I was younger, I was obsessed with a band, and I still am, a band called Mono. They're a post-rock band from Japan, and they're amazing. And their main songwriter, Taka, he just has a distinct style, and I really latched onto that. And so for a couple of years of my younger kind of adulthood, I dressed a lot like him. But I don't anymore. But I suppose that sort of got me more comfortable with just thinking more about style, I suppose. And yeah, I don't know. I don't think about it all that much, as you probably would think that I think about it more than I do. I just know what I like and I go for it. You know, I think that's the best answer for that.
So I would say that a lot of the wool inspiration went into the cover of your last album.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So tell me, how did you get into that? Did you draw it yourself?
No, that's done by a friend. She's called Shiva, but her artist name is Striga. She's a tattoo artist, and she's done all of my tattoos as well, most of them anyway.
Nice.
And she's just, she's lovely. I love her. So, and she's like a very talented artist. So I got her to do a different piece of art for every song. And the inspiration for the designs, I tried as much as possible to let the guests have input on that. Mm-hmm. So for example, Georg Holm, who's the bass player for Seguros, he was on the first track. Like, when I met him, he's a big dog person. He loves dogs, and my dog is also called Seguros. And we spoke a lot about his dogs, and then also he's a big stoic, and I'm into stoicism as well. So we spoke a lot about that during our session. And there's this anecdote about stoicism, like life is like, what is it? Life is like a dog tied to a cart. You can either run along with it or get dragged along, you know? So just go along with it. And all of that kind of culminated in just the imagery of a dog. So I just told Shiva, do a dog for that one. And she runs with that and she creates a dog. And
Oh, that's genius.
so a lot, almost all of them were kind of conceived in that way in collaboration with the guests. And then Shiva puts her kind of spin on that.
Yeah. Oh, that's brilliant.
Mm-hmm.
In your new music, what has been your inspiration, and what have you been listening to track?
Those are two different questions, actually. I've been listening to a lot of different things. Moor is one that I'm very excited about. It's a new Icelandic metal band. They just released their album, I believe, today, actually.
Oh, wow.
Their first single was amazing, like a 10 out of 10 on all fronts. The music video is great. The production is great. I've been listening a lot to them. The new Harakiri for the Sky singles are really cool. The new Sir single is cool. Scottish kind of black metal band on Season of Mist. Yeah, lots of different things, but I wouldn't say any of that is really influencing what I'm writing. I would say the kind of newest things that I'm doing that I haven't done before, I'm using my voice a lot more. Like I have been known to kind of do vocalizations and more ethereal voices, but there's a lot more songs that have lyrics and kind of lyrical structures, verse, chorus, etc. So there's a lot more of that, of my own voice. Of course, there was some of that in my old album from other vocalists, but I'm doing that myself now, getting a bit more confident with my voice and just writing words, And I'm also just trying to up the production, I guess. I want to have less samples, more real instruments. So I'm tracking a real quartet, and I'm hoping to use Sinfonord to do a full, like a 24-piece string ensemble instead of using orchestral samples, for example. So I'm trying to do that a lot more. I'm having my friend John from Alcest, the drummer from Alcest, he's doing the drums instead of using sampled drums. So I'm really trying to up it in that sense, make it a lot more kind of higher production. So those are the two things I would say, more lyrics and vocals from me and just higher production standard, really.
Yeah. And how would you describe your sound?
Musically or vocally?
Both.
Oh, vocally, soft, very soft. I like my voice most when I sing at its softest. So very, I don't know, ethereal is a very tacky word, but you know what I mean. Ethereal vocals, that's kind of what I'm going for. Very airy, breathy kind of stuff. But musically, melodramatic is a good way to put it. But I like telling a story, and I like a lot of dynamics. I love going from really tiny, fragile, intimate sounds to just huge roaring crescendos, whether that's orchestral, like an orchestra fucking blaring at you, or just a wall of noise, like distorted guitars. I just love those dynamics. It just tells such a big story, and it's just very emotional for me. I love music like that. Mono is a good example of that as well. They're like one of those post-rock bands that start with super clean guitars, then they press a pedal on the pedal board and just the stage explodes in distortion. And I just love that. I love that. It's just such an emotional impact. So I think that's a big part in my music.
Cool.
Like some release dates and your Instagram handle or TikTok or something?
I don't have any release dates currently. I'm just working on the album, and we're going to be working on the release schedule soon, January maybe. But I don't have any specific dates. But I am working on the album. It's hopefully the full album will be out late 2025 and singles leading up to that. But I don't have anything concrete for that. My Instagram handle is an embarrassing one. It's totally not Gísli. I created that years ago, and I feel like it's too late to change. So that's what it is. And yeah, I suppose my only other plug would just be Spotify. It's Gísli Gunnarsson on Spotify if you want to check my music.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
It's been nice.